So that's how I ended up in Nigeria. It's all Norley's fault.
With no motorcycle experience, I set off from the top of Alaska to ride around the planet to the bottom of New Zealand. I'm calling it the Big Spiral. We're in West Africa, and this is the next day of my adventure. Good morning from Lagos, Nigeria. Today's video is going to be a little different because we're going to be talking about a certain person on YouTube who is largely the reason why I'm in Nigeria. Alright, so we are in Lagos right now, and I need to make my way over to Cameroon, to this area. Now this is actually quite a large distance, so we're going to try get to somewhere around here. And if you've been following along, so far the roads in Nigeria, let's say, are interesting, and we have a lot of distance to cover, so we better get going. So let's go.
Okay, so the concept for this video could easily be derailed because, well, you know, we're in Nigeria, and everywhere in Africa you go, something surprising happens. So we'll see how this goes. And actually, traffic in Lagos is probably the most intense I've had anywhere in Africa. Lagos is kind of scary actually to drive in, or I should say Lagos. I think people say Lagos, not Lagos. All right, let's talk about Itchy Boots, Norley. So I think my story is probably the same as many of you. She kind of snuck her way into our lives. I first started seeing her videos when she was in Central America, and basically it seemed like she was heading north, but I didn't really know what the whole plan was or anything. Eventually I figured out, oh, she's heading towards Alaska. And as she entered Mexico and the States, I started watching a little more because I had been to those places and I was kind of curious to see where she went. And then eventually she made her way to Canada and British Columbia specifically. And British Columbia is my home province, so I started watching all the episodes because I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. I want to see where she's going, kind of thing, and what she thinks is interesting to go see. And actually, during the same summer, I was also heading up north towards Alaska as well. I was in my camper van, and I was on a mountain bike trip to go north. Okay, I got to pay attention a little bit here because there's oh my, this is a roundabout. Oh geez. As you can see, Lagos is a bit intense in terms of traffic. I think part of it is that it actually moves fairly quickly, and so it actually makes me a bit more scared because the chance of a higher speed collision is higher. Jeez. And it's the honking as well that just makes me a bit stressed out. Okay, let me get out of the city. It's a little tense, and then I'll continue my story. Oh, everybody wants to turn left here. Just loading up the trucks with, just seems like, oh, yeah, lots of bags of grain and stuff, but also household goods and everything else. Please going the wrong way. All these kind of stops for these yellow vans. They're basically like community buses, and they just stop on the highway, and it's really creates interesting situations, I'll say. I'll just call them interesting situations. Okay, well, we made it out of the city. Where were we last? So basically, I was talking about Norley was going up to Alaska, and I was going up at the same time in a camper van to do a mountain bike trip. And actually, I've always been a traveler. Like I in the camper van, I lived in the camper van for 6 years, traveling around North America and Mexico. And I've always preferred to be independent when I travel, you know, to have my own transportation. And actually, I remember during my first trip abroad, it was to Costa Rica, and I knew I didn't want to go around in buses or anything, so I rented a car. And immediately it was straight to the back roads of Costa Rica, driving through creeks and all this stuff. That, to me, that was always, you know, the way to do it, you know, and to go to somewhere that most tourists are not going to. And you know, I think that this kind of idea of really independent, off the beaten track travel, well, there's this show I was watching as a teenager in the 90s called Pilot Guides. I don't know if you know it, but it featured a couple different presenters, but they were always doing interesting things while they're traveling. It was always very authentic, and I absolutely adored that show. And so I knew when I was eventually old enough to go travel that you know, I wanted to do it in this independent, authentic way. And yeah, maybe that's why Nora Lee's just you know, is been so influential. Maybe I gotta go off-road here a bit. And maybe that's why she's been so influential, because everything she does is just so authentic. Like it's the real deal, you know? Jeez. If it's too close to pass, then don't pass. These guys washing their bikes in the puddle. I love it. Hello. Hi. Wow, look at the hole in the road. Massive. Oh, we're starting to get these roadblocks again. Road stops.
How are you?
Good, how are you? You want something? What? Greasing the palm of his hand, huh? Not sure about that. There's lots of these stops now. I don't know, those must be dates. Hello. Canada. Canada. Yeah.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Where are you going?
I go to Benin City. Yeah.
Which country are you from? Which country?
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Benin City.
Benin? You are almost there.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Always characters, always characters. Hello. What the hell? Anyways, where were we? So basically, Nora Lee was not my first introduction to motorcycle travel. There's this show from 2004, 2005, that kind of time frame, with these two friends that decide to ride their motorcycles around the world. So they started in London, went around through Mongolia, Russia, all the way around Alaska, and ended up in New York. And this show was very aptly named The Long Way Round.
The long way round.
ever since I saw that show, I'm like, one day I have to do this. One day I have to ride a motorcycle around the world. But these two guys weren't just any two guys. They were Charlie and Ewan. So they were both in movies. And Ewan McGregor from like Star Wars and stuff. So basically they had a TV show following them around. So they had a production team, they had a cameraman, and they had a whole team dealing with their visas and stuff like this. So when you watch the show, you're like, wow, how can I do this myself if they have this whole team behind them, you know, kind of thing. But then you see Norley, and she's doing it all by herself. It's not clear how she's doing it all by herself, but she is definitely doing it all by herself. And at the time she was going through North America, she was doing 3 videos a week, which is just unreal. I don't know how that's even possible. I'm doing 2 videos a week, and I don't even know how she did 3. Oh, you can't do that. But I can do this. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
Welcome to Nigeria.
Oh, thank you. All good? Okay. Hello.
They take us everywhere.
What's that?
Camera, they take us everywhere.
Yeah, I have camera to
Where are
record.
you going now?
I go to Benin City.
Benin City.
Yeah.
You are welcome.
Oh, thank
Where are
you.
coming from now?
I came from Lagos.
Lagos.
Yeah.
To Benin City.
Yeah.
You are going. You are welcome. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
You know, most of these police guys are very welcoming, honestly. A lot of them are saying welcome to Nigeria. And, you know, that could be the Itchy Boots effect. Because I know in one of her videos she had a run-in with a police officer that was asking for money.
Give me money. Money. Money.
And that got fired. And it made national news when it happened. So I'm sure all these officers, not to say they would do anything else, but I'm sure they all know this story. Imagine if they see someone covered in cameras, they'll probably let them go. Well, I think it's about time to find some gasoline. And I imagine there's some around here. Like right here. Total Energies. Hey, how are you? How much per liter? Oh, 13. Can you do full?
Where are you going?
Benin City.
Benin City?
Yeah.
Just 1 hour journey today.
1 hour? Yeah.
Where are you coming from?
Lagos.
Lagos?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. There's 20. These denominations, these are only worth like 70 cents each, something like this. So it's always a brick of money. All right. So where were we in our story? So basically, yeah, Norley was making 3 videos a week and doing all the stuff, and it just mind-boggling. Now, I'd been doing something similar. Just be careful of the traffic here. I'd been doing something a little bit similar. I had a mountain bike YouTube channel before I started this one. And so I was traveling around the world, around North America, with a camper van and my mountain bike, and I would go around and make videos about all these places I went to. Now, that being said, I was never making 3 videos a week, but it was more like 1 video a week. So yeah, with this camper van, this YouTube channel, I rode all around North America, Mexico, Japan, Australia. I even went to South Africa. But the absolute highlights of all these travels, it really had a big impact on me, was doing a mountain bike race in Tanzania. And I came back from that trip. It maybe sounds funny, but I came back from that trip a changed man. Like it was just so amazing. We were riding in these Maasai lands and just meeting all the people that live there, and I absolutely loved it. And you know, it kind of reminded me of all these travel adventures I had in my youth, you know, in my 20s, where I was, you know, I'd been to China, I'd been to South America, Chile, Bolivia, Argentina, and I really loved it. I'd been to Japan a number of times, South Korea, actually even North Korea. So I always had kind of this travel bug in me, especially after that first trip to Costa Rica. I really caught the bug after that. And yeah, so travel had always been a really big part of my life. A little bit of mud. Is this all happening because there's a roadblock here again? Why did they go around? Because there's a hole here? Okay, well, they've diverted traffic to the other side of the highway because, well, that happened. Truckload of foam. And then this crash here. Looks like, I don't know what they're hauling, beer, maybe? Oncoming traffic now. We gotta check out this road here. Is so distorted from all these big trucks climbing the hill. Just these big ruts in the pavement. Look at this, on the other side of the barrier is just a giant puddle, and it's a great spot to wash your bike. I think that guy on that truck just sold a new set of wipers to the guy in the truck, and he was changing the wipers as the truck was driving. It's all entrepreneurs here, you know, like anything for a buck. Oh, I just saw some bananas. I need to eat something. Hello. Are those bananas or plantain?
Which one?
I want banana.
No, but this one is plantain.
And plantain, okay. Where can I find
They should
bananas?
bring banana for you.
Oh, you can bring some for me.
Eh.
Okay. So let's continue the story. I think last we were talking about I traveled the whole world, mountain biking and all this stuff. Well, by the end of that, I was getting a little bit like antsy, and I felt like I'd run the course of the mountain biking thing, and it was time to do something else. And I was trying to figure out what to do. Well, I realized that I wanted to ride a motorbike around the world, and Norley made it seem like it was possible. So that's what I decided to do. The only problem is I didn't have a motorcycle license. So I got a motorcycle license. I took a bunch of courses, got my license, and I took the Itchy Boots Academy, which is like her motovlogging course, and got my motovlogging diploma. And then I headed north and I went straight for Alaska. And the idea of going to Alaska was that it was going to be my starting point of the trip, like the technical starting point. So I went up to the most northern drivable point of Alaska, Prudhoe Bay, and then my finishing point would be all the way around the world in New Zealand at the southernmost point. So basically, if you look on a map, Alaska and New Zealand are almost north-south to each other. So it'll be like, that's why I call it the big spiral. It's like a big corkscrew going around the world. Did I miss my turn? I did. Okay, turn around here. Now, at the time I started my trip, I had no plans to do Africa. I thought it was probably a bit more than I could handle at that time. And I thought, well, let's just get to New Zealand first and then we'll think about Africa after. Ooh, it's dusty. But back to today's journey. We're basically in Benin City right now, and I figure, well, it's only 3 o'clock. I can keep going, and we'll get to, I don't know, the next big city. I forget what it's called, to be honest. Though we've changed roads now, and it seems to have deteriorated. Oh. This road. The mattress trucks are here. Look at this. I think that lady, oh, maybe she's a little sick. I don't know. Yeah, I think she's sick. Those mattress trucks are wild. Alright, so where did we... Oh, we're off-road section now. So, last we talked about... Oh, yeah, I was starting my trip up to Alaska. Oh! And as I was starting my trip up to Alaska, Nora Lee had just been finishing her trip around Africa. Finishing as in, well, she crashed and ended up breaking her collarbone and then complications after that. Oh, I crashed really hard. It was a sad ending, but the trip itself was unbelievable. Like, I remember really not knowing what to expect when she said she was doing Africa. And then it turned out to be probably her best season ever up to that point. And obviously it was difficult, but she made it work. She made it happen. Now, my original plan was just to go straight through Europe and to the Middle East. Now, when I was in Ireland and Scotland and England, I was really like starting to think about my roots here, and could I really just skip Africa when I was right here? Like, was I really going to wait till I had gone all the way to New Zealand to do Africa? And well, you know, Africa treated me so well in the past with Tanzania and South Africa that I felt I just could not skip it. I just could not wait until I got to New Zealand to do Africa. So instead of heading east through Europe, I headed south towards Spain and crossed over into Morocco and began my African journey. And let me tell you, it is just, I'm so glad I did. It has been so fun. Obviously it's been difficult, but I thrive when it's difficult. For me, these are the most exciting moments, even if it's negative. These are the things I remember, and these are the stories I want to tell. So it's just been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. So that's how I ended up in Nigeria. It's all Nora Lee's fault. And yeah, it's like I said, it's been fantastic. It's been really good. Honestly, I feel like after Africa, I'm like almost worried that I'm going to be bored because this has been so intense and crazy and interesting. But yeah, I think there's lots of mountains to come after Africa, and I love the mountains, so I think we'll be good. Okay, I think I've picked a hotel down this way. These peacocks are making all this noise. Okay, that guy running up there, he's showing me where my place is. Okay. I just realized my face is so dirty. I'm gonna take a shower and I'll be right with you. How do I look? That's a little better, isn't it? Oh yeah, crazy day. And even like, you know, it's technically just highway all day, but that's like Nigerian highway. And yeah, like Nora Lee said, like she never really says exactly what makes Africa hard, but she just said Africa's hard. And it's just everything. It's like, you know, there's friction in everything. Like if you're going down the highway, in Nigeria, you got all these police checkpoints everywhere. There's other things like, you know, if you're staying in a hotel, the power will go out often. The internet's weak.
Often the roads are really bad. The roads are often dusty. So, you know, just like everything in Africa it is hard. But for me, that's the experience. That is, you know, you come here because it's not easy. I kind of embrace the difficulty, and you know, just I just like it. If it's too easy, then I might get a little bored. I constantly want to be thinking. You know, I don't want to just sit on the bike and with my hand on the throttle and just go. I want to be stimulated. So, and then you take all that, and then you have to do the video production as well, editing, and then of course all the other stuff like visas and current SIM cards in every country, currency exchange, all this stuff, and yeah, it's just it really piles up, and it's honestly, you know, if I'm not riding, I'm basically working all the time. And yeah, so from the outside looking in, it seems like Noralee got this really dialed. Like she knows exactly what she's doing, and yeah. So one of the examples of this that I noticed that maybe other people wouldn't notice is that, okay, she's riding through the Middle East, and then she puts her bike on a ship in Dubai, and then gets on a plane, and then she's in the UK doing a book tour because she wrote a book in her spare time, and she's got all this new gear. She got a new bike, and yeah, she's basically got all this organized. And then you've got the logistics of, okay, well, there's a delay in the videos, so she's planning ahead what to say in what video because she knows she's going to fly to another country soon. So yeah, this is, you know, stuff you see if you're doing this as well, and it's just like, yeah, she's got it super dialed. And yeah, so she's written 2 books, one of which has been published, and then one of which will be published next year, I think. So yeah, it's just you just wonder how she gets the time for all this and how she does it. Like I'm already all my limits, and then she's added books to the whole mix. So it's crazy. So anyways, Noralee, if you happen to see this, I hope you don't mind me making a video about you. You're inspiring literally millions of people, and you've inspired me as well. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't be in Nigeria if it hadn't been for you and your videos and YouTube and all that. So yeah, thank you so much. And then I should also mention Charlie and Ewan from Long Way Round. They really sparked this wanderlust in me when they made the Long Way Round. And yeah, you guys are absolute legends of the whole moto travel scene. So but anyways, I got a map here. Let's update it quick. Okay, so here's our Africa map. Actually, last time I updated, we were in Benin, and we basically rode like this, something like that, to Lagos, and then today we rode like this, past Benin City, and where are we? Onitsha there. And then if you look at our list here, we are at country number 29, Nigeria. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, the next, I think, like we're going to be heading to Cameroon. It's going to get pretty interesting there. I think it's going to get quite remote, and I'm kind of excited. Actually, the border crossing is kind of famous for being off-road and technical, and it's been raining a lot, so it's probably going to be muddy as well. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.